Howdy folks, good morning. Here's the second video for today. So, still up on the yellow trail. I'm just a bit further up along the trail. Probably about at the halfway point, just about. But, part of the video, I just wanted to show two separate landscapes within one reach. So like where we're walking right now, we're still essentially in the scrub hammock or prairie in a sense. So that's where you'll see a lot of the oaks, some of our bushes right here, like our Simpson stopper. That's one of the most prevalent types of bushes in a scrub habitat. And then, of course, plenty of that coastal plain palafox, as I pointed out in my last video. It is actually slowly starting to warm up, too, as a matter of fact. And could have swore just a little bit ago, I heard some moving around in the brush. Makes me think I possibly either heard a feral hog, or for all I know, it could have even been a bobcat too, which is like one of the substitute apex predators for the endangered Florida panther. So really cool. Usually in the morning is some of the best times to really be seeing the wildlife. But now, as you can see, we've made that transition of now entering into a hardwood hammock. So basically how a hardwood hammock forms is, as you saw just a bit ago, the scrub habitat, this is what happens when further development occurs. So eventually, as some of the trees start to grow, they will eventually shade out a particular area. And some of those shrubs that we saw do not have a chance to grow, as they require ample amounts of sunlight. But look at this. We got our live oaks out here. It's just remarkable how much they sprawl out. And the reason I believe they do that is the fact that you can see some of the Spanish moss on the tree, like right up here. What's actually fascinating about Spanish moss is it really isn't a type of moss whatsoever. They just named it that because I believe some of the Spanish settlers who were here most likely thought it was a type of moss. But actually, it's just a type of epiphtye, where they are rootless plants. They rely on the tree as a means of having a base. But rest assured, the Spanish moss does not act as a parasite to the tree. Rather, the tree is sort of like the apartment. And then the Spanish moss within that apartment gets its own groceries, or in other words, its own nutrients. But it won't feed off of the tree. So it's kind of like a commensalistic relationship. Wow. And then, of course, that's where you start to see more of your sable palm, also known as cabbage palm, which, in a sense, are not true trees, given the fact that they are monocots. Because actually, if you cut through here, it's actually more of a spongy material. There really isn't any hardwood. Now, with that being said, they call it cabbage palm because there's actually a meal that's extracted from this palm that's called hearts of palm. And also with the fact that there are layers to it, that's how it really gets its name. Now, another old legend that I have remembered learning too is when we see moss right here. This is actual true moss, as a matter of fact, just in case if you didn't know. It's been noted that sometimes moss actually helps indicate direction. So, like for instance, the moss here is kind of facing a little bit towards the north. That's always been an old legend for us hikers to use when we're out doing stuff like this. You know, especially if we don't have a compass. Helps give us an idea of like where we are, directionally speaking. Yep. So then in front of me, we have our beautyberry, American beautyberry, to be specific. These are indeed edible, but you want to avoid eating too much of it at once, as you may get an upset stomach. And the leaves also, in a sense, act as a bug repellent, especially for the mosquitoes. And beautyberry is actually very good for your health, too. Helps with your blood and even your liver. So all of your organs that you need. It helps promote the health of that. Quite remarkable to think, you know. Nature has so much medicine that is already here for free. Yet, I think many of us, not pointing any fingers, overlook that. Yeah. Got some feral hog tracks. Oh yeah, they're everywhere. Feral hogs enjoy looking for grubs that are in the soil, so they'll just vigorously dig into it to try to find what they can. And feral hogs are also an invasive species as well. They're not from around here. I believe they come from parts of Asia and even Africa, I believe. But yeah, they're not even from this area, so with that being said, they'll act as an invasive species, unfortunately. But yeah, I would have to say, in terms of all habitats that I've seen so far in Florida, hardwood hammocks are my favorite, I think. Just the amount of shade and just the scenery, I think. So alright, you guys. Hope you learned something of value in my video. Thanks for watching. And once again, learning on a journey is outwards. Take care, folks. See ya.